I will have one question and then move on. And this question is on Columbine, and I'd like to ask it of the United States Attorney present here today. 2 students were murdered, Mr. Walsh, as you know. 2 students murdered 13 people and injured 21. The gunman used a Tech-9 assault pistol and several large capacity magazines, all of which would be banned by this legislation. The National Rifle Association has said the solution is to have armed security guards at every school. As you may know, there were 2 armed deputy sheriffs at Columbine. Did they succeed in stopping the tragedy? Did they try, and what happened?
Senator, with respect to Columbine, if I may, obviously the armed guards who were present that day were not able to prevent the terrible tragedy that took place. I would note that the president's proposal, his package of important gun control and gun violence control initiatives, does include a portion that gives local school boards the option, and hopefully the funding, to have community resource officers present in the school. That's something that individual schools may choose. However, I think it's fair to say that our experience has been that the presence of armed guards in schools is not sufficient to prevent the kind of horrors that we've seen, particularly in the last year.
Thank you. Chief, would you comment on that as well, please?
Well, I think certainly having armed security present in any environment offers the potential for protection, but there are no guarantees. And the great challenge, certainly for cities like Milwaukee, we're the 4th poorest city in the country. We have a hard enough time keeping the police department at the strength it's in. I don't know who's going to pay for all of these armed guards. Perhaps somebody will come up with a grant program to do it, but it's an extraordinary cost, and it is no guarantee. The fact of the matter is, I've got officers out in the streets of that city every day trying to commit violence. If they're around the wrong corner, it can break out. If they're distracted or doing something else, it can break out. I've got an armed guard in the school breaking up a fist fight between 2 sophomores. He may not be at his post. Certainly, every piece of security we engage in can be helpful, but it's, foolish to think that only security is what we need. The great challenge is here, can we prevent these tragedies? Having an armed guard is a way of fighting off a potential assault, but it's not an act of prevention. An act of prevention is making it difficult for people to outgun the police. An act of prevention is making it difficult for people to take military-style assault weapons into schools. That should not be easy. It's too easy now. All right? Any amount of armed guards in that school still might be, outgunned by a committed offender armed with an assault rifle. So, there is no single solution to any complicated problem. Security is part of a solution. But if we ignore doing something about the weapons and implements that enable people to slaughter folks 20 at a time, then we're not dealing with the root of the problem.
Thank you, Chief.